Today, we're exploring two US 1-cent coins whose everyday appearance hides stories that fascinate experienced collectors and surprise owners in the 40 to 50 plus age group. These humble copper coins might seem like pocket change, yet hidden among millions are varieties and errors that can fetch hundreds or even thousands of dollars. In this first segment, the spotlight falls on the 2006 Lincoln cent, a coin so common that nearly every collector has at least one, and yet certain examples have rare quirks that send values soaring. Prepare to uncover the history, the subtle details, and the market values that make these pennies anything but ordinary. The story of the olive-hued Lincoln cent begins more than a century ago, when in 1909 the United States Mint unveiled a design to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Victor David Brenner's profile of our 16th president replaced the Indian head cent and captured a realism that proved instantly popular. Fast forward to 2006, and the familiar portrait still graced every 1-cent piece, paired on the reverse with Frank Gasparo's Lincoln Memorial motif, a design that dated back to 1959. By that point, the composition had long since shifted. Instead of the mostly bronze alloy used in earlier decades, coins since 1982 featured a lightweight core of zinc clad in a thin layer of copper, giving them their modern hue and a distinct click that many collectors recognize on sight. In 2006, the Philadelphia Mint produced over 7 billion of these coins without a mint mark, while the Denver branch added more than 4 billion examples bearing its signature D. Billions more found their way into pocket change, vending machines, and coin rolls destined for cash drawers across America. At first glance, a 2006 penny can appear almost mundane. Yet that common origin story sets the stage for uncovering varieties that even veteran collectors may have overlooked until now. At a time when the U.S. economy was experiencing steady growth, these coins silently circulated in pocketbooks and public transit fare boxes alike, barely drawing attention beyond their utility. Yet that very ubiquity provides fertile ground for minute die variations and minting anomalies to emerge, leaving keen eyes rewarded with treasure amid the commonplace. Spotting a rare 2006 penny starts with examining the surface for faint whispers of doubling along the date and the presidential profile. On obverse, a small population of coins exhibit a doubled die effect, most noticeable on the digits 2 and 6 in the date and on the lower rim of Lincoln's shoulder. These doubling artifacts occur during the die sinking process and can transform what would otherwise be a 1-cent piece into a specialty item valued far above face value. If a coin shows stacked or shadowed numerals, gently rotate it under a light source at low angle to see the ghost image that signals a doubled die variety. The Denver Mint variants bring their own intrigue, where on certain coins the mint mark D appears layered or bounced, an echo of the punch being struck multiple times in slightly different positions. Errors like off-center strikes up to 2 or 3 millimeters create a crescent of blank copper at the edge, and clips along the rim reveal where the planchet missed a proper cut. Slight misalignment during striking leads to bold lines spilling over the devices, and uncommon laminated flakes can leave patchy surfaces where the copper plating peels to expose the zinc core. Occasionally, a proof strike intended for collectors at the San Francisco Mint escapes into circulation, revealing deep mirror fields and sharp devices that stand out against business strikes and thrill those lucky enough to spot them. In everyday transactions, a 2006 penny remains worth just 1 cent, but uncirculated and error varieties paint a different picture on auction blocks. Typical business strikes in average mint state grades, like MS 60 red, change hands for just a few dimes, while coins graded MS 65 red by PCGS or NGC sell in the $2 to $3 range. As grade climbs, so does value. A pristine MS 67 red example can bring $15 to $25, with the current record a PCGS MS 67 RD that realized $45 at Heritage Auctions in March 2024. Error pieces command a premium, too. A 2006 P double die obverse, identified by that ghosted date, fetched roughly $150 in an early 2023 sale, thanks to its clear, readable doubling on the digits 2 and 6. A Denver repunched mint mark example sold for about $120 in 2022, as collectors competed for the overlapping D ghost image. Off-center strikes in the 2 to 3 millimeter range typically sell for $30 to $50, while more dramatic off-center pieces approach $100. Clipped planchets and broad strikes appear less often. An off-center clip might bring $20 to $30, whereas a broad strike without a retaining collar can top $50. Grading census data shows fewer than a dozen MS 68 red examples, explaining why ultimate grade coins carry a clear premium. One of the more charming stories from the field comes from a collector in Ohio who discovered a faintly doubled die, 2006, P hiding in a bag of change he had ignored for years. He noted the subtle doubling around the 2 only after examining coins under his desk lamp during a cold winter evening, and that unassuming penny went on to sell for roughly $140 at a local coin show, turning spare change into a small windfall. Elsewhere, a retailer reported finding a handful of Denver cents with off-center strikes at a bank coin counter, each bearing a telltale crescent of missing copper, prompting him to hold on to them for sale at club meetings rather than rolling them for circulation. In another anecdote, a mistaken blank production led to occasional copper-zinc lamination spots, where bulges and flakes of metal peeled away to expose the gray core. These laminated errors became conversation pieces among third-party grading staff, who often wondered how such imperfections slipped through mass production. Beyond errors, the 2006 penny tells a story of modern minting economics. The cost of materials and production often exceeds face value, a fact that has fueled debates about possible removal of 1-cent coins from circulation altogether. Even as politicians and economists weigh probable changes, collectors continue hunting the quirks and oddities of these humble discs, ensuring that each penny, no matter the date, has the potential to redefine its own value. Patina collectors prize the soft brown hues that develop over time, giving some 2006 cents an artisanal look that can add a small premium. As we shift our focus from the everyday yet extraordinary quirks of the 2006 penny to a coin that celebrates the centennial of a familiar motif, the year 1996 awaits with its own range of surprises. While many collectors prize the earlier Lincoln Memorial cents for their long history, the 1996 issues reveal fresh opportunities, mint-mark varieties, striking anomalies, and even proof oddities that capture the evolution of modern minting. In the upcoming segment, we'll explore how a penny produced almost 3 decades ago can still command attention, commanding values and stories that echo those uncovered here. The year 1996 might not seem like a standout chapter in coin history at first glance. After all, it marked a time of economic stability and technological acceleration, not upheaval. But for Lincoln cent collectors, it holds subtle treasures that remain underappreciated outside dedicated circles. In this section, we'll dive into what makes the 1996 penny so interesting to collectors in their 40s and 50s, particularly those who may have grown up handling these very coins. Whether tucked into childhood piggy banks or handed out as change in corner stores, the 1996 1-cent piece has become a quiet favorite for variety hunters and error enthusiasts alike. Let's start with its origin. By 1996, the Lincoln Memorial reverse had been in place for nearly 4 decades. Designed by Frank Gasparo, the reverse featured the famous monument with tiny, stylized columns, so detailed that, under magnification, a seated statue of Lincoln appears between them. On the obverse, Victor David Brenner's portrait of Lincoln had remained mostly unchanged since 1909. These designs remained consistent, but the coin's physical makeup had changed. Following 1982, all pennies were produced with a zinc core and a thin copper coating. That meant collectors needed to adjust their expectations when looking for weight-based errors or trying to differentiate between old-style bronze cents and the newer copper-plated zinc format. In 1996, the Philadelphia and Denver mints together struck more than 13 billion Lincoln cents. The Philadelphia mint produced over 6 billion with no mint mark, while the Denver mint contributed more than 7 billion marked with a D. These numbers alone make it easy to dismiss the 1996 penny as common. But that's where the hunt begins, not in what these coins are, but in the rare ways a few of them differ. One of the key reasons the 1996 penny has remained on collectors' radar is because of its notable error varieties. The most prominent of these is the 1996 double die obverse. This particular error features subtle doubling on the date, with the 9 and 6 showing the clearest signs under magnification. The effect is less dramatic than classic doubled dies like the 1955 or 1972, but it's distinct enough to earn a place in variety guides and can bring strong value at auction if the doubling is crisp. Another variety to watch for is the 1996 D with a repunched mint mark, where the D appears to have been struck slightly off position and then corrected. This creates a shadowed or layered look that is highly sought after, especially when the repunching is clear and sharp. Even more exciting are off-center strikes and clipped planchets. Some 1996 pennies were struck so far off-center that part of Lincoln's profile is missing, while the rim appears as a flat, blank arc. These are especially prized when both the date and mint mark are still visible. On rare occasions, coins from 1996 have been found with broad strikes or even struck through grease errors, which obscure portions of the design and create ghost-like blank spaces. These factory flukes might seem minor to the untrained eye, but they represent gold mines for collectors who know what to look for. Market-wise, most 1996 pennies in circulated condition aren't worth more than face value, but things change fast when you bring in high-grade or error examples. An average business strike in mint state, 65 red, might sell for $2 to $4, depending on whether it's from Philadelphia or Denver. MS, 66 examples, still relatively common, bring $10 to $15. But step into MS 67 territory and prices climb significantly, with some Philadelphia minted examples selling for $40 to $60 in red condition. Denver coins in similar grades trade for slightly less, likely due to the higher total output from the Denver Mint that year. A standout 1996 P in MS 68 red, certified by PCGS, fetched over $300 in 2023. This reflects both its scarcity in high grade and the strong demand among registry set collectors who want pristine specimens. As for error coins, a 1996 double die obverse recently sold for $250 in negative 58 Australian dollars condition, with the same error in mint state trading for closer to $400. Repunched mint mark, RPM, examples vary in value depending on clarity, but sharp strikes in uncirculated condition can range from $75 to $150. Off-center errors, especially those with 10 to 15% misalignment, can command $100 or more if well-centered with the date intact. A particularly dramatic broad strike with no rim but full detail once sold for $130. These are not life-changing numbers, but they show how a coin you might overlook can carry more value than you'd expect if the right conditions are met. Now let's talk collector stories and fun facts. One of the most shared tales among coin forums involves a 1996 D penny with a rare off-metal error, struck on a dime planchet. That meant it had a silvery appearance and weighed less than a regular penny. The coin looked strange enough that its owner initially assumed it was counterfeit, only to discover that it was a genuine U.S. Mint error worth over $600. Another story comes from a retired postal worker in Oregon who found a crisp, uncirculated roll of 1996 P pennies in a forgotten safe deposit box. Every single coin was MS 65 or better, and several showed faint signs of doubling. After careful cherry picking and professional grading, the roll turned out to contain 4 MS 67 examples, which later sold as a matched lot for just under $1,000. These kinds of finds keep collectors searching. Even now, coin roll hunters and eBay sleuths hope to come across overlooked 1996 errors. In fact, a growing number of YouTubers and TikTok content creators have begun highlighting modern cent errors, driving renewed interest in coins like these. And while most Lincoln cents from the 90s are still treated as modern pocket change, these rising market values, and the stories behind them, are turning the 1996 penny into a new collectible frontier. Condition plays a critical role, as always. Red designated coins, those that still shine with more than 95% of their original copper luster, lead the pack. These are the coins most often stored immediately after minting and spared from circulation. Red-brown coins, which show some light toning or mellowing of the color, still retain solid value but tend to sell for 30 to 50% less than pure reds at the same grade. Brown coins, those that have toned completely, are more often found in circulated rolls and are valued accordingly, with MS 65 browns sometimes fetching just $1 or $2. But don't write them off entirely. Some brown coins develop attractive natural toning in hues of blue, violet, or gold, which can earn premiums for their eye appeal. A 1996 D with stunning iridescent toning sold for $90 despite only grading MS 64. Strike quality also matters. Well-struck examples, especially those with strong detail on the reverse columns and Lincoln's jawline, are more desirable. Circulated coins show quick signs of wear along Lincoln's cheek and the high points of the memorial steps. Light wear drops a coin from uncirculated to a U, about uncirculated, slashing potential value by half or more. On the other hand, an uncirculated 1996 cent pulled from a mint set and left untouched in original packaging may fetch a tidy sum at auction if it grades high enough. And as with the 2006, any attempt to clean or polish the coin will all but destroy its market value. Original surfaces are key. Collectors in this demographic especially value authenticity and originality, and few things lower a coin's appeal faster than signs of tampering. As we tie together our look at both the 2006 and 1996 Lincoln cents, it becomes clear that even the most ordinary-looking pennies can carry extraordinary stories. The thrill lies in the details, a faint doubling here, a missing rim there, or a ghost of a misplaced mint mark. Whether you're a seasoned numismatist or someone who's unknowingly held one of these rare varieties in your wallet, it's a reminder that sometimes it pays to take a closer look. Keep hunting, keep learning, and remember, the rarest coins aren't always the oldest. Sometimes they're hiding right in plain sight.